Hi, this is Ronnie Whitaker. I wanted to relate a little bit about the beneficial use of cannabis oil. Beneficial use both from the treatment of physical and physioenergetic anomalies, ailments, and disease, and also beneficial use of cannabis oil in physiological resolution related to spiritual conscious practice. So it was about a year and a half to 2 years ago that I was introduced to cannabis oil, and it was when I was at a friend's um, holistic healing event near here within Scotland. There was a gentleman that I met there. I can't remember his name, but he was extremely enthused about cannabis oil, the function and the benefits of cannabis oil. And he was speaking to me about it, and I was kind of half paying attention to what he was saying because I have never used cannabis oil, hadn't heard of it. I used to smoke cannabis in its droves when I was younger and in my 20s, but this other beneficial, medical, functional use of cannabis oil I was totally oblivious to. But this gentleman, he was like really passionate about it. He's giving it, in my ear, and I wasn't giving him full attention. I was just partially listening, partially just distracted to what else was going on around us in the environment. However, when I left the holistic event and I went home the next day, or very soon after it, I had a feeling about this cannabis oil. He had somehow imprinted it into my mind. He was going on about it that much. Anyway, it struck a chord, went in there. Seed was planted, all right? So I started looking into it, this cannabis oil thing. I don't know why, right? But I started looking into it, and I came across it. So you can buy cannabis oil, and generally it comes in two forms. It comes in more than that, but in general, two forms. It comes in CBD form. Okay, CBD is the legal, filtered, modified version of the full natural cannabis oil product. And then there's the full natural cannabis oil product, which has all the various other ingredients too. Now, CBD is only one of about close to 100 other beneficial contents and ingredients of the full natural plant. You know what I mean? So the CBD is known to treat different inflammations and medical aspects and things within the body, but the full natural version, does what CBD does, plus a hell of a lot more. Is known to treat and cure cancer, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, migraines, HIV, many deadly diseases and conditions. Now, there's there's not a lot of medical evidence. In fact, there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of, as far as I've seen, in my research and review online, and I've checked out all the various cancer charities, what their views are on it. Cancer Research UK, Macmillan. I've watched a lot of TV interviews and documentaries about with doctors and people, and all sorts of clinical people and formal this, that's, and the other. I've read and I've watched and I've reviewed so many of these formal sources, and about how how the facts, what is the facts here, what is going on, what is the accepted overall fact here about the treatment of cannabis oil for these major, critical deadly diseases. And it's like other subjects of controversy, right? subjects of controversy such as like UFOs and aliens and I don't know, anything else you might think of. It goes into the bin of ambiguity, all right? It goes into the ambiguity bin. So there's this sort of side to side debate of, yeah, it can cure, it is possible, but however, it's not been medically tested on blah blah blah. But however, yeah, there's stories that are saying that people have been cured. But however, and it rolls about in this bin of ambiguity, pros, cons, and everybody's got a perspective, opinion, and different people have got different agendas. You know, pharmaceutical industries, doctors, even news, media, in general, government, you know, there's different perspectives, there's different agendas, and so there is no clear information coming to us about it from the authorities, from the governing authorities and medical establishments, you know, certainly within this country and probably throughout the world. So it's in that bin of ambiguity. So, you know, you've got to navigate that cloud and field of ambiguity with your own focus, sense, clarity, and feeling, intuition about it, you know, and recognise the fact that there's all sorts of opinions from people with all sorts of agendas, with all sorts, there's vast billions and billions of money involved in it, you know, if cannabis oil, cannabis oil can cure most cancers. We have studied it and we are able to effectively utilise its treatment in certain ways for every cancer and cure every cancer. So chemotherapy and all the companies that develop products that go into chemotherapy, all the pharmaceutical companies that develop all these tons and tons and tons of drugs every year to treat all the various cancers, all the various side effects, all the various aspects related to, you know, to cancer. They all drugs can go. We don't need them either anymore. Think about the financial impact on many organisations if that was the case. So the Wheel In Cancer natural product, you know, we can grow it for free. There's not much we need to do to it. We just need to adapt some of its applications for particular treatments and that'll treat your cancer. All of that stuff we don't need anymore. So all of these organisations that are paying their staff and paying their professionals and generating millions, thousands, billions worth of profit, we don't need you anymore. All right, okay, no problem. All right, we'll just back off. They've found a cure now. Never going to be the case, is it? Totally unrealistic, isn't it? So that is what you're dealing with in terms of the agendas and the influences, the disinformation, the masking of information, the manipulation of information. That is in the bin and the pool, the field of ambiguity out there in mainstream news media and information. And if you watch one of these documentaries, it's always, oh wow, you know, someone will relate sincere-heartedly about how they're 2 weeks using cannabis oil and all their cancerous tumours were gone from their body, you know. And then you've got some little fuddy-duddy formal looking media person saying, oh yeah, that's really good, you must be really relieved. But we must add that there has been no clinical trials that has proved outright that that is factual. It's a fucking lady or man is just sitting there going through the actual felt experience of it in a situation that has taken them to the core of their being, facing their own mortality. They know what's going on in their body. They know they know what has just happened in terms of the cure and experience that they have experienced with cancer. Sure, it is. I'm not writing off the validity, of course not, of science and the medical establishment and things like that, but it's what I am questioning. I'm not even questioning, I don't give a fuck about it. It is the actual way that the information is propagated through the media. So that person's experience of cancer cure. Yeah, it's appreciated, but then at the same time it's kind of, it's weighed up with this, well, no real factual clinical trials have been done. Of course no real factual clinical trials have been done in that. It's because nobody wants to go there, nobody wants to. There's restraints and constraints from the medical authorities and the establishments that actually control the function and the allowance of certain trials to take place and whatnot. There's certain governing bodies and things like that that will promote and fund research into these things. These governing bodies and the likes that promote and fund and allow, research into these things, it's all tied up in the organisations and in the bureaucracy and in the financial aspects of the companies and the people that are involved in the companies that develop the current cancer curing drugs at the moment that are making all these billions of pounds. So it's all wrapped up in this political, financial, governing, pool of or ball of wire and mess. You know what I mean? Political ball of wire and mess. It's not straight, it's not clear, and overall it is not of integrity, and it is not always at all for the good of the people or for what's true and right. So there's going to be blocks in terms of what studies can take place, what research can take place, what medical trials can take place. So back to the media man speaking to the person that's just been using cannabis oil for 2 weeks and all of their cancer has gone, and that medical man said, yeah, well, that's really good, you must be really happy and all of that, but we must add that the clinical trials haven't taken place because, so we don't know outright, what's what. Do you know what I mean? So it's just showing the contrast there, and it's showing the mess and the noise, and I feel there is no use waiting for Big Brother to tell us that it is okay now that you can take cannabis oil or hemp oil to treat your critical illnesses and ailments. It's okay now, you can do it. Oh good, Big Brother's telling us we can do it now. Great, Big Brother's looking after us, has the people's mind at heart, and things like that. You know what I mean? That's a mentality itself. It's like believing what's read in the news media and all of that. All of the information is concocted. It is angular. It is to incite reaction. It is to motivate public opinion. It is to hasten particular political and financial agenda. It is fucking bullshit, right? It is total nonsense overall, all right? So it's a very tricky minefield to navigate, is the media, formal media, information propagation establishments and all of that political fucking stuff and everything behind it. It's like a mess, So what I would say, and anybody in any case for any subject, is take full responsibility yourselves, Go with what we truly feel. Go with our own willfulness. Go with our own choices, because we cannot rely on these establishments for looking after us at all, at all. Well, again, at the same time, I'll say there's so much good. There's so much good that science has brought us. There's like hospitals are saving lives every day. There's so many amazing nurses and doctors and people and professionals in those fields. But overall, the whole thing is tainted with all of this monopolized greed and misinformation and all of it as well, So really, I do feel it comes back to ourselves. How do we feel? And making our own choices based on our own intelligence, our own intuition, And sometimes that means following through in areas of where fear comes up for us. I'm not sure. Fear comes up for us. So sometimes it will, in making our own way in our own responsibility, may and will actually lead to fears coming up that we have to bravely step through and face, And that is just it. That is just the nature and the reality of our situation in life for all that we need to deal with, you know? The opposite of that is sitting, getting spoon-fed bullshit from Big Brother, corporates, governments, and all of that, right? It's all crap. So back to cannabis oil, right? And the use of it. So, about a year and a half ago, as I explained, right, so I did a little bit of research. I did research into it. I was looking at it, finding out how I could actually get some, and I managed to get some. And about a year and a half ago, I started using it, utilising it, taking it. Now I say using it, not abusing it, not trying to get stoned with it. I mean utilising it consciously for beneficial effect in my own general physiological healing process in relation to spiritual conscious practice and things like that. So within that context, right, that's the context of resolving emotional repressions, resolving what we would term as like negative behaviours, negative reactions and things like that, you know, to actually resolve ourselves and to become healthier, you know, psychologically healthier, emotionally more conscious of ourselves and aware emotionally, etc. like that. It's all a physiological thing, you know. So I first began utilising cannabis oil for the effects of that, to work consciously within my physiology and to work out, you know, sort of emotional resistances and kinks, you know, within my body's energetic system and things like that. And I found cannabis oil to be absolutely amazing for that type of thing, for the effects of it. Amazing, you know, because of it's got so many layered beneficial effects and qualities to it. So it's supportive on the physio-energetic system. So it helps the body to relax. You know, the qualities of it helps the body to relax. Now, the relaxation of the body comes through the neutralization of the damage to our nerves and our nervous system. All right. So if we sit as ourselves just at the moment, just say sit calmly, we may at times feel a sort of, you know, an urge to go and do something, and there's always something kind of buzzing, and it's like a low-level agitation, you know, that's always going on, all right? And the reason for that being there is due to different emotional experiences that we've had throughout life in our past, you know. We've had like traumatic experience, we've been through very challenging experiences at the, you know, at the hands of life in general, and all the troublesome and challenging situations that it can bring to us, and during our childhood, during relationship with people and things like that as well. So these emotional traumatic experiences and challenges and moments of our life actually leave these markings within us, you know, psycho-emotionally, psycho-energetically, can affect, you know, different aspects of ourselves. We might find ourselves sort of, you know, we're sort of physiologically resistant, you know, in certain areas of our body. Perhaps if we feel maybe in relation with people, we might feel shy and defensive, you know, that relates to physiological resistance. That in itself relates to past experience and behaviours that we have learned and things like that. So it affects us on all different levels. It affects our nervous systems, you know, our nerves can get a little bit jangled. So we've got this low-level agitation going all the time. It can affect our muscular system as well. We get used to these sort of twists and contractions and contortions, you know, that we develop over time as well. They can be very subtle, you know what I mean? So our muscles can be weakened. Our, you know, the energy of our emotions might not fluently express, you know, like the expression of anger, the expression of rage might be like stifled and repressed within ourselves. So we might be challenged in our communication, our relation, and relating about our feelings, our trueness, and our emotional world and things like that. So there might be these sort of physio-energetic blockages and things round about our physiology. So this also affects us, psychologically as well. So we develop certain ways, characteristics of behaviour, of ways of thinking, and stuff like that. It's like the wear and tear of being human. Well, my initial utilisation of cannabis oil was to support the actual introspection and resolution of all of these things that I'm speaking about. That's the line of work that I'm in. Is what I do, is what I facilitate for other people as well. So the cannabis oil and the ingestion of it, you only need to take like a little tiny bit of it for the function that I was utilising it for. So it relaxes you. It relaxes you physio-energetically and neutralises the jangling of the nervous system as well. So you come to a relaxation. It's not a stoned thing, right? So don't think about stoned and all of that kind of stuff, which obviously you would think about, given that that's what people fundamentally have used and smoked cannabis for throughout all these many years. But it's a different kettle of fish. It's a different dynamic of conscious usage here I'm speaking about, in the ingestion of cannabis oil. So it can facilitate a relaxation, a neutralisation of the damaged nervous system, In that relaxation, there's an opening. It's like an energetic opening as well. There's more space. And in that relaxation, in that spaciousness, there's a calmness that comes to the mind and thinking as well. Stresses resolve, energies dissolve, and there's a more natural relaxation and natural experience of feeling of being that occurs, and it's quite subtle. As I said, it's not a stone thing or anything like that. It's subtle. You can still go on with your day. You can still interact and relate and just be yourself all the same, but you have this beneficial effect of relaxation, And so my usage of this was to receive this beneficial effect, and through like meditation and introspection, is to like feel within my body, feel where any resistances are, and to work through these resistances, bringing my own feeling consciousness into the areas of resistance, within my body anywhere, and just gradually just move through these areas of resistance, and smoothing them and relax them and allow the pockets of resistance to dissolve and resolve, And for me, utilising cannabis oil in many, many ways many times over the past year and a half, that's fundamentally the usage, the way I would use it, So I've come to really find out how it actually works, how it feels, how it works in ingestion, how much to take, or how little to take for whatever particular effects related to whatever it is that you really wish to work on. And then, when the effect is on us, how do we actually work consciously with the cannabis plant, with the energy of the cannabis plant for our own beneficial effect. So I would feel the effects, like working with it perhaps in an evening, maybe take some before I'm going to bed, and then I would lie in bed and I would do this introspection, feeling through and resolution activity that I was doing. And then the next day I would feel, wow, man, I feel like the resistance that was in my leg or my arm is away. There's more life and feeling. I've got feeling sensitivity back into places that were perhaps a little bit numb and stiff, Now, people would do yoga and things like that and exercise to help resolve these different things I'm speaking about. So it's all on that level as well, So, and I would feel the benefit from that. I'm like, oh God, I feel really, really like relaxed and grounded and present within my body more so, So I was like amazed, because it's just a very simple thing, and it's like a very mild thing, and it's very clear and straightforward to work with, So that's why I came to really appreciate it. And it's primarily when I was primarily using it back then, or when I started using it, it was for that function, and I've been using it ever since, and I've facilitated different what I would call ceremonies and things, where I would speak and relate and facilitate people through the process of ingestion and through that self-healing process as well, so that they can come to understand how it works within them, physio-energetically, bodily, emotionally, psychologically, and they can work with it to heal themselves, consciously. So that is within the context of what I call the resolution process, which is related to spiritual practice, physiological healing. So it's not particularly related to the curing of any particular disease or illness. It's just a general car wash of the body, of the physio-energetic system and psychology. It's awesome for that. Cannabis oil is absolutely awesome for that. And I'll probably utilise cannabis oil for the rest of my life, for that purpose, and also for the medical purpose as well, which I can relate a little bit about here too. So there is the known facts that cannabis oil has cured various cancers, and the information of the cures and the beneficial effects and cures of cancers, of HIV, of AIDS, of Parkinson's disease, of epilepsy, of ADHD, and all the many things. Go on YouTube, go on Google, and just your common person that has actually been directly affected by it, from direct first-hand experience from common people, you can see and you can hear the actual effects and the profundity of effects, and the cures and the effects that have happened for people. So, listening, seeing and relating with the common people that don't have any other manipulative or governing agenda, they just simply want to live and be well. Listening to the accounts of these people, then you can really get a first-hand experience, and know-how and insight about how it really works medicinally to cure and to alleviate these deadly conditions, And I have seen many of these online, and plus I've related with people I know as well, like that gentleman that spoke to me initially, about cannabis oil, his stories about people that he has worked with that had come to cure major diseases and illnesses through the use of cannabis oil. Other people as well that I know in different parts of this country too, that have been working with people and facilitating healing for people that have had skin cancer, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, bowel cancer, etc., etc., and have within 2 weeks or a couple of months have seen a complete resolution, cancer gone, complete cure occurred and verified by the doctors and the medical establishment, who will, of course, at the same time say, well, no formal clinical trials has happened, yet they have seen the cures themselves, So there's just so much of this, and it is, if you like, underground, you know what I mean? It's just the common person, people that are led to cannabis oil for these purposes and have made that choice to actually progress treatment with it, and if they have, in however many cases, have received beneficial effects or cures from the use of it. It's the common people. It's like an underground thing, It's only not underground, if you like, once the media establishments say, yes, that's true, that's what happens, but they're not going to do that, are they? So that's why it is underground. That's why there's still taboo about it. That's why you've got all sorts of maybe doctors and people and things like that kind of even issuing warning about it and stuff like that. Again, you need to go with your own feelings, your own intelligence, you know what I mean? And face, if need be, your own fears as well, Because a lot of conditioned fear come up. We've lived in a society that has been listening to Big Brother, that has been, governed by Big Brother and all of the establishments and forces, and doctors. We've given all our trust and respect to doctors But only now, you know, we find out the doctors' hands are tied and the information they get's manipulated and stuff like that. So it's all been a dupe. Do you know what I mean? But we have grown up and we have been societally conditioned to pay respect and give our power away to these big brother establishments, etc. So we reclaim it and we use our own intelligence, our own insight, and if need be, we face fears, you know. So I'm not saying that you should go, if you are affected by cancer or any of these critical illnesses, that you should go and take cannabis oil because it will cure you. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to go with your own intelligence, your own felt sense, your own responsibility. That's what I'm saying, okay? And make your own choice from there to do so. Now, throughout the usage, in my own experience of using cannabis oil, I've not had cancer. Luckily enough, I've not had cancer or anything like that. However, as an energy healer, as a healer myself, I have seen cancer and leukemia and different critical illnesses and diseases in people's bodies. I've treated people from an energy healing perspective that have been affected by these diseases. So energy healing is a whole different, it's a whole woo-woo topic, you know, and you might be, you know, turned off, you know, by sort of woo-woo. So I'm not really going to go there, but through my own experience of energy healing, I've come to realise for myself how cancers, leukemias and other deadly diseases, how they manifest energetically within the body, you know, physio-energetically, how it manifests. So each of these conditions within the body, just say cancer, leukemia, you know, each of these conditions have the physical manifestation, you know, of the damaged cells, you know, and etc. They also have like the energetic manifestation as well, you know. Everything physically also has an energetic imprint, has an energetic manifestation, you know. So there's a whole host of science out there and stuff like that that can prove and detail that, you know. It's way above and beyond this video, and the science of it is a bit beyond my ken as well. I just go with what I feel, what I see with my own physical eyes or my third eye, insight and intuition. And it's through this that I heal people, you know. And it's through this that I've come to see what cancer looks like, you know, and I've come to see what leukemia looks like. I've come to see what all sorts of various ailments look like within the body from an energetic perspective. So the work that I've done in energy healing over the past years has been to actually remove, disable cancers, leukemias and other lesser ailments and conditions within the body through my own energy healing work, right? So with the perception and the felt sense and intuition of how cancer, specifically I'll talk about just now, manifests within the body, it manifests energetically in particular, it has a particular energetic imprint. Different cancers have different particular energetic imprints. There's cancers that have like a particular energetic imprint and colour that is like light green. It's like a pussy yellow and light lime green in colour. It's a sort of cancerous colour. When I see that anywhere, I know there is either there is cancer there or there will potentially be cancer there at a later stage. It's like the person's energy system, the bioelectric field within their body has like folded in on itself so many times it's become cramped and resisted within their physiology, right, within the resistances. So they've got muscular resistances as well, they've got nervous system damage, and they've also got the energetic manifestation of the resistance too, which manifests as these layers and that enfolding layers of bioelectric energy, you know, that is like infused within the bodily muscular system as well. So that energy itself can take on a particular colour. So that like sort of yellowy pussy and lime green colour, yellowy pussy, and then I think it actually grows. It seems to grow into worsen into a lime green, hardened lime green colour. So it starts yellowy pussy, so like a cancerous energy, and it grows into a hard lime green colour, you know. Leukemia has like a purplish red colour to it, and it's like leukemia looks like but it's more like sort of blobs. The way it manifests, it's like sort of blobs of purple blood. Leukemia is like a blood cancer, and that's how it looks energetically. It's like these blobs of purple blood. So I've seen all of these different manifestations, these are just a couple of examples. And what I do through my energy healing work is I clear and work through that to resolve, dissolve, and help clear things energetically, and that energetic clearing of the work that I do has a knock-on effect to the muscular system, a knock-on effect to the nervous system, which has a knock-on effect to the psychology and the associated behaviours and conditions that also would relate to the onset of these diseases and things like that, because all of these diseases and ailments, they're multi-layered, so we're affected in all different layers with these diseases and illnesses, like I've been explaining just now. And one of them also is like behavioural and characteristic. If we don't look after ourselves, we don't look after our minds, if we don't look after our ways, our inner world, then that doesn't bode well for us either. If we're always harbouring sort of hateful, critical thoughts of other people, we can't be critical towards other people without actually affecting ourselves with that same toxicity of criticality. Do you know what I mean? And that affects us energetically, it affects us physically, and it's all runs in together. So in my healing work, I'll consult with people on different levels as well. I'll do the energy work, I'll let them know what's happening within their physiology as well, and help them identify the areas of the physiology, maybe their muscular system in their body, where there are particular issues, and I'll encourage different activities and things for them to partake in that will help that as well, maybe a bit of yoga, exercise, etc, etc. And I'll relate with them too about, the behavioural characteristics, the psychological aspects related to the particular overall condition as well. So that's like holistic. It's a holistic view on the treatment of these conditions. So anyway, these cancerous anomalies that can show up within the physio-energetic system I have known. I also used to work, for cancer charities. I used to do fundraising for Macmillan, Marie Curie, cancer research. I did fundraising for the British Heart Foundation. I did fundraising for all of these medical charities. And as part of that fundraising, I would go door to door. Right, brilliant job. I would go door to door to canvass for charity funds for the charity, But in that door to door work, I would often meet with people who are actually affected and suffering from that of which your charity was helping. Say Macmillan, for instance, I would turn up at somebody's door and I'd be greeted respectfully, as an ambassador for Macmillan. You know what I mean? Just say, I'm only like this little fundraiser, But I would often be welcomed into people's homes, and I would meet with people that are in their family that are affected with cancer, or heart disease, or whatever might be going on. And that was a daily thing. Several times per day I would meet with people that were affected with these conditions. And it was during that time as well that I was also energetically aware, and I was an energy healer as well. I would often do silent energy healing when I was in people's homes, people that were affected with these things, subtle silent energy healing. You know what I mean? It would actually happen on its own. It wouldn't be like an invasive thing from me. Sometimes I would go in and I would relate with somebody, say for instance, that had a heart condition. This happened several times. Relating with this woman, right? She had like all sorts, heart attacks galore, stents fitted, and all sorts of things. She wasn't in a good way, I can remember. And her family were there too. And I got from her family that didn't really fully bother about this woman, She didn't get full love and support and presence for her family. I could just feel this. And I was relating with the woman, and she was like, you know, she was really greeting me and, you know, hugging me and respectfully, and I was relating with her. I'm like, how are you getting on and what's happening for you? And, you know, and in that instance, in this time with this lady, I noticed there was like my energy and her energy would like sort of merge, you know, and as my energy merged with hers, this is just happening alone, you know, as my energy merged with hers, it was like something. It was like my energy went into her heart area and popped something out of her heart. So some sort of a thick, energetic anomaly that was resident in her heart. I could see it in my third eye. As it was happening, I could feel it and see it. So I'm relating with this lady, you know, human to human on the one level, but at the same time there's this energetic thing going on, and seeing my energy is like going into her heart, and I'm feeling her heart. I'm then feeling her heart as my heart, and I'm going, I'm feeling the contraction and the weakness of her heart as I'm relating with her. This energetic thing's going on, you know, feeling that, and then I'm feeling just some sort of a release and healing taking place for the woman, you know, not my doing, just the play of energy, you know, play of consciousness itself happening, you know. So this would happen on an almost day-to-day basis. The same thing happened with a guy that had throat cancer. He had one of those little machines, you know, that helped him to talk. You know, it makes him speak like a robot. Well, went in, I was relating with him, shaking his hand, how are you getting on, etc. My energy went into his throat, and pia, and something popped from his throat. So maybe there was like a build-up of cancerous tumours, you know, or the energetics of it, you know, the energetic imprint behind the cancerous tumours. Maybe a build-up there, and that, he received that release. Now, I don't know the benefits that these people received from their interactions with me and the energetic occurrences that went on, because I'd leave their home and never see them again. I'd wish them well, give them my love, and I would never see them again, you know. So it was always an interesting thing for me, and I was often in tears, you know, and really feeling the situations with these people, you know. There was like no half-hearted thing going on. It was like really involved in it. So I never ever found out what might have happened, what good or anything might have happened from these energetic interactions that occurred. But what happened for me is that I learned more about it. I learned more about the play of energy. I learned more about the energetic manifestation of these critical diseases and illnesses, you know, and I've been able to take that into my own energy healing work. And back to the point of working with cannabis oil as well, you know, cannabis oil from the inside in its own energetic consciousness can and does go into these spaces of physiological and physioenergetic resistance, and it dissolves these energetics. Cannabis oil works in different levels. It works on the physical cellular level, right? And it works on the physio-energetic level as well. The physio-energetic level, it's going to be a long, long time before the medical establishment, you know, actually get to the study, realization and affirmation of the physio-energetic level of cannabis oil treatment. You know what I mean? We're struggling just now on the physical level, never mind the physio-energetic level. That would just like to be totally dismissed, you know what I mean? It probably ain't going to happen any century soon, you know? But in usage with cannabis oil myself, in my own body, in my own ways, and in the experiences I've learned through energy healing and what I've just told you, I have seen firsthand and felt firsthand how cannabis works on the physio-energetic. Cannabis oil works also on the physio-energetic levels too. It goes into these pockets and areas of resistance. The energy and consciousness of the cannabis oil plant goes into these pockets and areas of resistance within the body, within the physiology, within the physio-energetic system, and it through its own way, you know, it actually brings relaxation to and dissolution of these cancerous energies. And I have, in my own experience, certain places within my body, I have actually experienced the release of cancerous energies from within my body, and I went, oh my God, I didn't really realise that was there. So these things I'm telling you about, the the sort of yellow pussy like energetic that can occur. I experienced that in my own body. I experienced a healing release of that through the use of cannabis oil in my own body. I've experienced a healing release of the lime green cancerous energetic as well in my own body, and I've also experienced quite a significant release in the heart area too, which I'm not completely clear of what was going on there, but something serious was, could have potentially manifested physically in years to come for me, but something was removed with cannabis oil itself. I was working with it consciously in different areas in my body, but then noticed that the consciousness and the energy of cannabis oil just sort of moved on its own accord, without my volition and intention, and went into my heart and did something within my heart and actually caused a release, an energetic release within my heart area. And it was only when I actually done it did I realise, oh my God, that was quite a significant dissolve and energetic removal there in my heart. Thank you so much. That could have manifested in some sort of disease or whatever. All right, so you can see that a lot of it's sort of like kind of hearsay and stuff like that, But and I guess that's why it would fall into where clinical treatment and trials and the actual physical manifestation of fact and things related to it, and that goes into the whole how science actually is and has evolved, and the roots of scientific research and the world scientific establishment itself, the core fundamental beliefs of science. Science overall is materially focused, on things that it can actually see, account for, and factually measure. And I can understand that. You can understand the benefits of that, and the rigorous, clear work that goes into that kind of that scientific research and work. My God, it will produce amazing, profound results and advances in science. But it's not only the material that is apparent in our world experience. You know what I mean? It's not only the material. You think about ourselves. If nobody told us about gravity, and we can't see gravity, all right, but we'll get an idea that something's making this apple fall to the ground. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about our non-scientifically educated selves, But it just shows because science hasn't accounted for its science hasn't accounted for the apparition of the bioenergetic, just say, because science hasn't on the face of it formally accounted for the fact of the human aura, the human bioelectric field, just say, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Science is learning and advancing all of the time. So science itself is not the be-all and end-all, although it does so much good in so many ways. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I say it's down to your own feeling, intuition, experience, and intelligence, and fear-facing and bravery as well, in matters of this. So I was at my friend's last night, and the three of us were chatting about the cannabis oil, the use of cannabis oil, and all of these things that I've been speaking about today. So it's really fresh within me, and I just feel, and because of what I've experienced firsthand, because of what I've seen and heard from other people, and the benefits that they've experienced, the cures that they've experienced, I sit sometimes and I go, oh my God, there's people out there that are truly suffering, with many diseases and ailments that can potentially be cured within just a couple of weeks, with the likes of cannabis oil. But the information isn't out there yet, or it's restricted and manipulated, So getting clear information, or getting the potential, to people of the potential benefits and the potential cure here, is giving people another option, a potentially life-saving option, because I've been watching as well chemotherapy for the treatment of cancer. It's got the success rate of chemotherapy is minute. You know what I mean? It is minute. Yeah, there's so much dependent on chemotherapy, and chemotherapy itself is harsh on the body and has so many side effects, and it's brutal. It's a brutal treatment. Yet the actual the statistics out there, I don't know which ones to believe or whatever, but there's statistics out there that show that the benefits of chemotherapy are bloody minimal. You know what I mean? And yet you've got this naturally growing stuff that is so easy to ingest and is very mild in its effect, and here it's like it's done so much and it continues to do so much in killing cancer and curing, healing, or helping to alleviate all of these illnesses and diseases. So that's why I get so passionately felt about it, and sometimes a little bit angry, at the restriction upon the human race for things like this. It's something that I really feel. I feel and I think about people that are in their beds affected by these illnesses and things like that, and their families are all affected and whatnot, and you've got like a medical industry that's got all of that confusion and corruption in it going on, and you see all of these bits, all of these perspectives, and you go, my God, So that's what's driven me to communicate about this today, and yeah, I still continue to work with cannabis oil for the purpose of the physio-energetic healing context which I've described, in relation to emotional, psychological resolution and things. I still work with it, and I assist other people as well that work with it or choose or would like to work with it too, and that includes cancer patients as well, So I just thought I would share that with you today. Thank you.